Fighters grabbed him. We all ran out to see what was going to happen next. My mom dropped to her knees in the street because she thought her only daughter had just burned alive in the flames. I walked up behind her and touched her shoulder, and he turned around and grabbed me so hard I could barely breathe. "Where were you?" she managed. "Megan's party," I said. The fire marshal walked over. "Gas leak from the stove. Someone didn't turn the burner off." Everyone looked at Kayla. My dad whispered, "We trusted the wrong person." I smiled. "Hell yeah, you did." I was counting how many A's I got on my At my birthday party, my best friend announced, "I've been sleeping with your dad." My best friend Rose said it right.
What?
I was blowing out my birthday candles. Everyone froze. My mom went pale. Rose stood there, proud of herself. "Which one?" I asked.
Proud of herself? What the f?
Rose's smirk got bigger. "Your real dad, Omar." I probably should have cried, but I laughed instead. You see, my bio dad Omar left when I was 3 months old. By the time I was 2, he was married to someone else. By 5, he had 2 sons with her. Mark became my stepdad when he married Mom. Rose knew Omar was my deepest wound. She'd been my best friend since 2nd grade. She was there every Father's Day. Every time I stalked his new family online, wondering why I wasn't enough. But why would she do this? 3 months ago, Rose cheated on her boyfriend at a house party. She begged me not to tell, so I didn't. But 2 weeks later, her boyfriend saw her car outside the guy's apartment. He dumped her. She was convinced I'd told him. She blocked me everywhere. Then last week, she unblocked me and texted, "I'll come to your party. I have a surprise for you." Then right before my party, my mom got a call that changed everything. Omar's wife was screaming so loud I could hear her from upstairs. "You knew he had another daughter and you never told me." 19 years of lies. After she hung up, my mom sat me down, shaking. Apparently right before I was born, Omar had been sleeping with Rose's mom. Rose's mom was married, and everyone assumed her husband was Rose's father. But Omar's wife had found old emails. She got Rose's DNA and discovered the truth. Rose was my half-sister. I found out the morning of my party. I wanted to tell her, but not here. So here we are. Rose standing triumphant in her revenge dress. She planned this perfectly. Maximum humiliation. Dozens of witnesses. My birthday ruined. But I'm laughing. "What's so funny?" she demands. "I've been sleeping with your dad, Omar." "Why would you do that?" I ask. "You promised not to tell, but you did anyway. So if you wanted to play dirty, I decided I'd play dirtier." "You want to know something funny about Omar?" I ask. "He had another affair 19 years ago with your mom." Rose freezes. I hold up the DNA results Omar's wife sent my mom. "You're his daughter, Rose. You've been screwing our dad for 3 months." Gasps and whispers erupted in the room. Rose's face goes green. "I'm going to be sick." She threw up in the bushes. Someone gasps, "Oh my God, she didn't know." Turns out Omar knew she was his daughter the whole time. At my birthday party, my best friend announced, "I've been sleeping with your dad." My best friend Rose said it right as I was blown. 3 men jumped out in ghillie suits and pointed weapons at me while I was feeding cute ducks. One of them screamed at me, "Get on the ground now!" Someone from behind grabbed my arms and kicked my knees forward. My face was pushed into the ground.
Oh, wow.
"What's happening? You're trespassing on government property." My grandfather had warned me about this. His farm bordered a military base, but there was no fence between the properties. He told me, "They train new recruits over there who don't know about my farm. Don't go past the line of willow trees and you'll be fine." The willow trees were past the duck pond, and yet I was not fine. After tying me up, one of the recruits said, "Searcher." "Nothing, sir." "Hey," I shout. "This is my grandfather's property. You are the ones trespassing." They used their radios to report catching me. I was crying now. "Please, just call him. My grandfather will explain everything." They ignored me. The one holding the radio turned to the recruit closest to me. "Sir, the commander will be here in 10. I'm not deaf, Thompson." It was clear by now that the one next to me was the ringleader. Ringleader grabbed my arm and jerked me into a sitting position. "Why are you on our base?" "I'm not. You are standing on a farm." Ringleader scoffed. "What farm? Aren't you supposed to grow things on farms?" He gestures at the land surrounding us. "My grandfather owns sheep and cows. They're just on the other half of the property right now." "Oh, how convenient. If you don't start talking, my hand might slip, and you could end up with a black eye, or worse." "The hell you think you're doing, Daniels?" Ringleader freezes, and I look over to see an old man wearing a uniform step out of what looked like a military-grade golf cart. Ringleader points to me. "Commander, this is the trespasser in question, sir." The commander turns to them. "Do you know where you 3 knuckleheads are?" Ringleader answered, "We were following our map for a training exercise." "Were you reading it upside down, maggot? You're standing on this man's property." My grandfather and I now spend our days drinking tea and watching the recruits work his farm for him as punishment, completely for free. 3 men jumped out in ghillie suits and pointed weapons at me while I was feeding cute ducks. One of them screamed,
"This is your head. This is mine."
When I walked into the restaurant with my guide dog, I heard my date sigh from across the room. I heard him mumble the words, "Pretty girls like you always try to be disabled for more attention," as if being a pretty ginger isn't enough. My eyes widened with shock. Did he really just say that? What did you... I was in the back seat of my best friend's car when she dangerously swerved into the other lane. I shot up. "Peyton, pull over. You're drunk and it's 2 a.m. Just let me drive." She looked at me through the rearview mirror. "I'm fine." The guy in the passenger seat she just met at the party put his feet on the dashboard. "She'll be fine. Relax." But she could barely keep the car straight. "Peyton, pull the car over now." She slammed the brakes on the side of the highway. "Get out of my car. You're being a terrible friend right now." I refused. And that's when the random guy got out of the passenger seat, opened the back door, and yanked me out of the car. She drove off. I was on the side of the highway, alone, and I had no idea how I was getting home. Peyton was the only person who knew where I was, so I called her to come back to get me. Straight to voicemail. I tried again. Nothing. Then my phone screen went black. It died. I was completely stranded. I started walking down the highway to find a gas station, but then I saw headlights slowing down behind me. A man leaned out the window. "You need a ride?" Everything in me said, "Don't get in this car because it's sketchy." But I had no phone and no other option. I told him my address and got in his car. He pulled onto the highway and he passed my exit. "Hey, that was my exit. You passed it." He ignored me and kept driving. "Where are you going? Take me back right now." He reached under his seat and pulled out a small knife. "Be quiet, or else." I couldn't believe my luck. I got kicked out of my best friend's car, and now I was going to get kidnapped. I grabbed the handle, kicked the door open, and jumped out of his car while it was still moving. I was on the ground, scraped up, back on the side of the highway, and that's when I saw a gas station across the highway. I ran to it. I went inside and asked the cashier if I could use their phone. He nodded and handed it to me. I dialed Peyton's number because she was the only person in my life that I knew would be awake right now. It rang. "Hello, who is this?" The person who answered wasn't Peyton. "I'm trying to reach my friend Peyton. This is her phone." "Who is this?" There was a pause. "This is Dr. Ramos. Are you family?" My stomach dropped. "What happened?" "Your friend was in a car accident tonight. She was driving under the influence. I'm sorry, but she didn't make it." I stood there in shock. If she hadn't kicked me out of that car for a random guy, I would have been dead too. I was in the back seat of
I'm so fucking.
I walked into the cafe my ex always talked about and told the barista I'm deathly allergic to almonds. Then she poured almond milk into my coffee. I took it and accidentally inhaled it, and my throat started tightening immediately. So I dug through my purse for Benadryl with shaking hands. I went back the next morning to see if she really did do it on purpose. "Can I get an oat milk cappuccino?" "Oh, and I'm allergic to soy." Behind the counter, I watched as she grabbed the soy milk. Day 3, I told her I had a severe nut allergy. She wrote "no nuts" in big letters on my cup, then pumped 3 shots of hazelnut syrup. She handed it over smiling and pulled out her phone to text someone while she watched me pretend to sip. I swear I recognized her, so I kept coming back. And every time, she doubled whatever I said I was allergic to. For the final test, I pointed at a chocolate cake labeled "contains tree nuts." "Does this cake have nuts?" She was already boxing it up. "Nope, completely nut-free." I held up the box. "It says right here, tree nuts." Her face went red. "No, there aren't nuts in that cake." After she stormed into the bathroom, I stood in the hallway and heard her voice, shaking. "I'm poisoning her on purpose because I need her to lose Hugo's baby. It's not fair that she gets to stay in his life." Hugo was my ex-boyfriend, and the reason I even knew about this place. I pushed the door open and she spun around with the phone pressed to her ear. "I'm not pregnant." She froze. "Hugo showed me the ultrasound. He's a pathological liar. Those are from Google," I said. "You can see the watermark." Her face crumbled. "I've been poisoning you for 2 weeks. I could have killed you." "Yeah, you could have." I walked
Yeah,
into the
you could've.
cafe my ex always talked about and told the barista I'm deathly allergic. My dad pointed at me and said, "Tell it that if it doesn't start behaving, I'm kicking it out." He always called me it because he wasn't my actual dad. I was an affair baby from when my mom cheated on him with another man, and he hated me for it. "Okay, honey," my mom replied. She turned to me. "Your father says that if you don't start behaving, he's kicking you." But before she could finish her sentence, I was already getting ready to leave. "I've had enough of this. I'm 18 now. I don't need you anymore." As I walked to the front door, my mom got up to walk me out, and when my dad wasn't looking, she handed me a shoebox. "I'm sorry. I should have given this to you sooner." And before I could ask what was inside, she shoved me outside, slammed the door, and locked me out. I sat down on the curb and lifted the lid, and when I saw what was inside, I started crying. It was a petition for custody that my actual dad had filed for me. Underneath it was 5 more. He had filed for custody to legally be my dad 5 times. But it didn't make sense, because my parents had always told me he was dead. Was that a lie? I looked closer at the petitions and saw my dad's address on it. It was around the block, so I walked there, not knowing if any of this was even real. The house was an expensive mansion. When I knocked on the address, a man opened the door holding a coffee mug. The second he saw my face, the mug shattered on the floor. "Maddie, my daughter?" My eyes filled up with tears. "Dad, my parents told me you were dead." He dropped to his knees in the doorway. "Well, they told me you didn't want to see me, so they must have lied about everything." He took me in and showed me to the huge and expensive bedroom he'd been saving for me since I was born. "This is your home now." I hugged him. A few years later, my parents found out my dad was rich and called asking for money. I told them if they don't start behaving, I'm going no contact. My dad pointed.
I think that's enough of her YT story, but I guess wait, let me watch.
This boy was trolling on the
90 million. Okay, this is gone, bro. Okay, let me read her description. You guys can read this. I'm not gonna read this, so just pause the video and watch that. Yeah. The hell is beacons? Actually, hold on. I want to wait. Hold on. Does this exist? DayYT story. YT story. Hold on. Oh, dang it. Fuck! I thought
Winning 300.
I will react to. Dang, his YT story has like 2 times that man that her YT. I will react to his YT story in the next video. So if you want to, if you want to watch if you want his YT story, go sub. And well, that's gonna be it for today. So bye guys, bye.